What is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be talking about why I believe the NBA should remove the draft lottery, or basically change the draft lottery, because in my opinion right now, after what I saw today and what I've seen from the past years, I think that the NBA draft lottery is hurting a lot of franchises, and it just does not make sense, and it's basically rigged. So without further ado, please like, please subscribe. We're on the road to 500 subscribers, and it'll be deeply appreciated if you guys can like and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get on with the video. So the draft lottery just happened today, about like 4 hours ago, and congratulations to the Atlanta Hawks for winning the NBA draft lottery. And that's crazy. Like I'm saying that, like the Atlanta Hawks had a 3% chance to win the draft lottery, and they won it. And the Atlanta Hawks were also the 10th seed, fighting for the play-in. Were basically in the play-in tournament, and lost to the Chicago Bulls, and they're awarded the first round pick. Whereas the Detroit Pistons, who had 14 wins, and the Wizards, who also had 14 wins, did not get the first overall pick. And it just makes me think, why is a draft lottery even a thing? Because here's the thing, right? When it comes to the NBA season, and when teams try to compete, you need to have the roster to be able to compete. For example, Denver Nuggets have the roster to compete. They have two superstars in Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. They have really good role players. They're defending champions. They can basically compete for a championship. Teams do not compete to be middle of the pack. They compete to make the playoffs and fight for the NBA championship. And the thing is, right? Like a lot of teams, like the Detroit Pistons, um, the Washington Wizards, teams like the Charlotte Hornets, Portland Trailblazers. The reason why their record is so bad is because they don't have anybody, to be comfortable and be able to fight for the NBA championship. Their team is struggling to find a star, and the only way they can get stars is by drafting someone in the lottery. I mean, drafting someone in the draft, basically, right, to get the number one pick or to get a top five pick. A lot of teams got screwed today. The Toronto Raptors got screwed because they didn't get a top six pick, which got traded basically to the San Antonio Spurs. And my thing is, okay, that trade is fine. I mean, they traded for Jakob Poeltl, but my question is, for a lot of teams that are struggling to find superstars and struggling to, be able to be a good team, it just hurts me to think that if I was a fan of those franchises and I just got screwed out for the second year in a row, like the Detroit Pistons had the worst record 2 years in a row, and they did not get the number one pick or even a top four pick in both those years. It's just crazy. And as Stephen A. Smith would say, that's blasphemous because it just does not make sense. The Atlanta Hawks did not deserve to be the number one overall pick. It just doesn't make sense. They have Trae Young. They had They have Jalen Johnson. They have Kevin Herter. Not Herter. Hunter. They have a decent team. That team was really fighting for a play-in spot. They have a star. They can make moves. They don't need the number one overall pick, and it just does not make sense. The lottery is just not helping these teams grow. And the thing is, okay, the NBA made this draft lottery to preserve the league for competition and allow franchises to not tank, and for sportsmanship purposes. Here's the thing: as players, players in the league, would say they don't play to lose. Like the GMs, they tank. The players, the coaches, they don't play to lose. They play to win, right? Let's be honest. The Detroit Pistons are not winning the ring. They did not have the rosters to compete. You From the get go, from the preseason, they were going to be the last seed. The roster sucked. The Spurs, the roster sucked. Yes, they had Wembanyama, but who else did they have? The roster sucked. The Wizards, they got a Jordan Poole, but he's too young to lead this team. Kyle Kuzma is not that good of a superstar. He's not a good star either. So yeah, they're gonna suck. I can just go down the list. Charlotte Hornets, they got Brandon Miller. They were a top two pick last year. They're gonna suck. The Utah Jazz, how did they get the 10th? How did they get the 10th overall draft pick? The team did not play good this season, and they needed a star, and they got screwed also. So I'm just saying, there's so many picks and so many teams that just deserve a spot to be able to draft someone like Alex Sarr that who could be a generational player and help this team, the team that deserved to get the number one pick, succeed and grow. It's just the draft lottery is screwing a lot of teams. And I feel bad for Pistons fans because for the second year in a row, they're not going to be getting a top 4 pick, and that franchise just needs that needle mover that would be able to help them grow and help them succeed in the long run. They don't have a star. I mean, Cade Cunningham, he's good, but that's all they have. There's a reason why the Detroit Pistons win 28 games in a row. The team did not want to tank for that. They were just that bad. They were just that bad. And my solution would be remove the draft lottery. The reason why I would say remove the draft lottery is in NBA teams, when it comes to the NBA teams, you're either competing for the championship or you're not competing for the championship. It's just as simple as that. Teams, fans, let's be honest. Every Detroit Pistons fan, every San Antonio Spurs fan did not think they were going to win the championship. They didn't even think they were going to make the play-in tournament. So I get the competitive aspect, like what Adam Silver and a lot of NBA executives want. It just doesn't make sense to me because a lot of these bad teams are not going to have a single chance to win the championship. They're growing. There's something called rebuilding. You need to rebuild the roster. The problem is the Pistons can't rebuild if they consistently not getting a generational player or a player that is good, a top 5 star pick. They're going to keep being bad because last year, who did they get in the 5th round? The 5th pick. They got Oscar Thompson. He's all right, but he's not. He wasn't like a Brandon Miller or a Victor Wembanyama. Scoot Henderson, he can maybe improve, and he has star potential. But Oscar Thompson, he's at best a role player. It's the truth. He came from overtime elite, and this video is not just for the Detroit Pistons. This is for the Toronto Raptors. This is for a lot of teams like the Charlotte Hornets, the Portland Trailblazers, the Memphis Grizzlies. Even the Grizzlies. The reason why they were this bad was because of the injuries and stuff like that. So I get their reason why they tanked, but it just doesn't make sense. I think in the grand scheme of things, how making these teams get better, like all these bottom level teams get better, is by getting good draft picks and getting a good draft spot. So the lottery is just ruining teams. Atlanta, congratulations. You guys got the number 1 pick. You guys are on the clock. But I don't know. I think that a lot of teams got screwed in today's draft lottery, and we'll see what happens in the draft. Anyways, please subscribe. We're on the road to 500 subscribers. Until next time, peace.